What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael, and in this video we'll be talking about how I passed the Nclex-Pn on the first try, and I got 98 questions, so I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experience while taking the test as well. So maybe you haven't taken the Nclex, or maybe you're going to take it again. This video is for you guys. I'm going to share with you guys my experience, what I used to study, and how I prepped for the test. So let's get started. We're going to throw it back to May 2022. When I graduated nursing school, and I took 1 week off of break of just, no studying, no nursing material, no studying, no nothing. And I just relaxed, did the things that I love, which like going to the gym or fishing, hanging out with friends. And because I needed this and I knew these next 3 weeks was going to be intense studying for my test date, which was on June 28th, 2022 at 1 p.m. And I also knew that I'm not the best test taker in the afternoon. I do better in the morning. So I had to adjust my brain, my mentality of taking the test at 1 p.m. So throughout these 3 weeks, I would do questions during the afternoon, like around 12 or 2, just to get in the habit of taking the test on June 28th at 1 p.m. And so what I used to study for the test was UWorld and Simple Nursing, and I gotta say both are amazing. I'd recommend it to anyone who is trying to prepare for the test. And for UWorld, it has a whole bunch of questions, at least 1,200. It gives you great rationales for those questions that you're struggling with or the concepts that you're struggling with. And it also gives you 2 assessments depending on which package that you purchase. For me, I purchased the 6 months, I believe, and I got 2 assessments. I didn't end up using them, but it's still because you could choose the certain topics that you want for your test, and maybe you could also make your own assessment of 75 questions or maybe 60 questions, just however amount of questions that you want, but I believe 75 is the limit. So you could have the certain topics of like peds and OB questions only. You could do that on UWorld and as well as on Simple Nursing. But for UWorld, the questions are worded a little bit differently. I believe they're to me they're more difficult than the ones on Simple Nursing. And for Simple Nursing, they have study guides and videos, which is different than UWorld. For the study guides, I did some index cards, and these are the index cards that I did. I highlighted them, the key points that they list in the study guides that they have on Simple Nursing, which was very helpful because it gives you the breakdown of what you need to know for that concept, like the different diseases or the different meds, and it just makes it easier for you to understand, which was very helpful for me. So those 2 are the programs that I use to prepare for the NCLEX for these 3 weeks, and it was very helpful to me. I would do at least 60 or more questions a day, and then I would study for 5 days a week of very intense studying, like around 7 in the morning all the way up till 7 to night, and then maybe do some questions around 9 o'clock before I go to sleep. And then there would be like 1 or 2 days within the week where I just studied like light studying around for 3 hours the day just to not go so intense during that day, and just to prepare myself for the next couple days. I'll be very rigorous studying. And so I did this for 3 weeks. It was a nice schedule that I had for myself, and then I would go through each of the topics, the 6 topics like peds, OB, med surge, the pharmacology, mental health, and the basic skills of nursing. I'd go through each one of those topics. I'd find out which one's my weakest, go through those, and then go through my weak points, which was peds and OB. And I would just keep doing that for 3 weeks, and then I would, at the end, my last week, like the last 4 days, I took the assessment tests on UWorld. I started off on UWorld with the assessment test of 75 questions. I would average around 40%, and then during the last 4 days, I would average around 70%, which was a big increase and a big improvement from when I first started using UWorld in around March. I would get 40%, and then now I'm getting 70%. So that was a dramatic increase, and I learned a lot using both U-World and Simple Nursing. So that's when I knew I was ready to take the test on June 28th. And so that's how I prepared for the test. Another thing that I did to prepare myself for the test was to mentally prepare myself. I wanted to make sure I had positive thoughts. I'm not thinking that I'm not going to pass, just minding my own business, just, believing that I'm going to pass and, just thinking happy thoughts, because that's what it's all about. Because if you believe it, you could achieve it. And so that was my mindset all throughout these 3 weeks, and while taking the test as well. So, maybe that could help you as well. Another thing that helped was going to the testing site that I chose 1 week before, so that I knew where I'm going. I knew I wasn't gonna be confused during my testing day, because it's just gonna be added stress when you don't know where you're going. Maybe you take the wrong exit and then you get lost, and then you're gonna be late for your test. So I went there 1 week before, and I recommend this tip to anyone who's taking a test like this. Just go to the place. If you've never been there before and you're not familiar with the area, go there a couple days before, just to familiarize yourself with that area and how you're gonna get there. And it just really helps you, just relax, and just eliminates all the added stress that could have been there while you're testing. As for my experience taking the test, I stayed in my car for 1 hour just to get some last minute studying. And then I went into the testing site around 12:30, since my testing time was around 1 p.m. And I didn't know that you're supposed to bring a mask with you, so I had to go back in my car and get a mask. So make sure you guys bring a mask. Maybe in some states they require you to wear a mask still in that testing site, or maybe they don't, but just have one just in case. And they said that the temperature was going to be the same as it was in the testing site when you're in the testing room. So if you get cold easily, it might cause a distraction. Make sure to bring a jacket just in case, and bring some snacks just in case if you're there and maybe you need a break. And so when I got back to the testing site, they gave me a number, and then they scanned my palm and they took my picture, and then I had to wait after reading this brief description of what not to do during the test, and what is allowed and what's not allowed. And then they gave me a key to put my keys in the locker. After that, they called my number up, and then I was ready to test. And so they brought me to this testing room where it was like a cubicle setting where you had a chair and then a computer, and there was cameras everywhere watching you while you were testing. And they made sure that you had nothing in your pockets before you entered the room. And then they give you earbuds if you want, and they also have headphones for you for any question that requires you to listen to anything. And so I took my test, and I was there for a while. I didn't know that I was gonna go past 75 questions, but I ended up going past 75 questions. And then around like 80, around the 80 question mark, a pop-up on my screen said, do you want to take a break? When this came up, I thought I failed because there was a pop-up and I didn't know what to expect. So I said just no to the break. And then I kept going and I kept answering the questions. And as the questions went on and on, it stopped at 98, and I was relieved and I was exhausted. I didn't know if I passed or failed. All I knew that I was just tired. So I left the testing center, just stayed in my car. And then when I drove back home, got the computer, I did the Pearson VUE trick and I got the good pop-up. I passed. I was super excited. Couldn't believe it. And that was my experience taking the Nclex. It was pretty intense. The prep and the test itself, and then just waiting for the results. So hopefully these tips helped you guys, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys. Peace.